Now, this is the Fox 11 News at 10.
Controversial new directives from the new district attorney. Tonight, the family of a murdered L.A. County Sheriff's deputy outraged. They say justice is not being served.
Bad news and good news on the coronavirus front. ICU beds filling up fast. One local county now out of beds. All this, though, as the first doses of the vaccine are distributed.
And the recall effort against Governor Gavin Newsom picking up steam. Signatures have been pouring in since his French Laundry restaurant debacle. The family of a murdered L.A. County Sheriff's deputy is outraged tonight after learning that the L.A. new district attorney, George Gascon, is seeking to dismiss some of the charges against his accused killer as part of new reforms.
Bill Melugin spoke exclusively to Deputy Joseph Gilbert Solano's sister tonight, and Bill joins us now live in West L.A. Bill.
Marla, good evening to you. The suspect in this case is not just an accused cop killer. He is an accused double murderer. Police say he shot and killed a man just 1 hour before he shot and killed this deputy. And even with all that being said, we've learned that George Gascon's office now is seeking to drop all enhancements and all special circumstances against this accused killer. And that has the deputy's sister absolutely devastated tonight.
I question that every single day. Why did this happen to him? Why? I mean, he was such a good person.
Over Christina Solano's shoulder is the proud memory of her little brother, fallen L.A. County Sheriff's Deputy Joseph Gilbert Solano, a hard-working family man who had the job he'd always dreamed of.
Oh, we were very close. We were like inseparable. We did everything together.
That brother-sister bond lasted from the time they were children all the way through adulthood, a life of laughs, love, and family. But all of it would be cut short on a summer day in June 2019 when Deputy Solano was waiting in line at an Alhambra Jack in the Box and Christina got the call.
What I was told is that this guy had come up, behind him and shot him in the back of the head.
Police say surveillance video showed a Utah man named Rhett Nelson shooting Deputy Solano from behind. Just an hour before that, police say Nelson also shot and killed 31-year-old Russian snowboarder Dmitry Koltsov. Nelson was eventually taken into custody outside of a church in Long Beach. But Deputy Solano was mortally wounded and had no brain function. He passed away in the hospital with his sister at his side.
I miss him every day. I miss him every day. After he had passed away, 6 months later, I had to bury my mom. And so I lost a dad, I lost a brother, and I lost my mom all in 1 year. And the hardest part is losing Joey because, at least I know, if he would still be here today. And now, I have my family's all gone.
Solano also tells me, and Fox 11 has independently confirmed with the DA's office, that as part of newly elected DA George Gascon's reforms, he is seeking to drop all enhancements and special circumstances against the accused killer. Specifically, his office is seeking dismissal of special circumstances of multiple murders and gun enhancements, charges that could put Nelson away for life if he's convicted. But if a judge signs off on dismissing these special charges, life without parole will be off the table, and Nelson could spend significantly less time in prison. Solano says she was horrified when she found this out.
Completely in shock, Bill. I can't even tell you what my heart just dropped. I couldn't believe it. He should be there for the families. We are the victims here. My brother is a victim, not this person that shot him. I don't understand what his purpose is to let these murders out of jail. I don't get it, Bill. I mean, is this person, he's like the devil. I don't understand it.
In a statement on this case, a spokesperson for Gascon's transition team tells us in part, quote, if convicted, there is a possibility that decades from now, the parole board could determine he's been rehabilitated. Such a determination many years from now would ultimately be a reflection of a system and the public alike weighing their continued interest in incarcerating a man who no longer poses a threat to society at an extraordinary taxpayer cost, eliminating that remote possibility today may not be in the public's interest decades from now. But Solano tells me she doesn't care what rationale Gascon's office wants to use. She says he needs to remember who the real victims are.
He's never come to me and ever talked to me about, my family, my brother. I mean, he should be there for us, not these these crazy people in jail. It's disgusting, and he's disgusting.
Ultimately, the decision on these special circumstances and enhancements is going to come down to the judge in the case. I'm told there is a pre-trial hearing set for January 11th. The Solano family will be there to give a victim impact statement, and it's going to be the judge's call. Does he want to go with what Mr. Gascon wants, or is he going to side with the family? Now, if those enhancements are stripped, I'm told that the suspect will still be facing charges of murder, attempted murder, and multiple counts of robbery. And Mr. Gascon's transition team tells me he would still be facing at least 40 years in prison. But if those enhancements are stripped, it's unclear exactly how many years he could be facing. We'll have to keep an eye on this case, guys. We're live in West LA tonight. Bill Melugin, Fox 11 News.
Well, her words were extremely impactful. All right, Bill, thank you so much. And we heard from another victim's family today, part of a news conference with their attorney, the family of 20-year-old Charlene Conde. Her father had to fight back tears as he talked about how his daughter was shot 8 times, allegedly by her boyfriend.
I miss my daughter so much. And not only just because of my daughter, but for all the victims, all the families who lost their loved ones to acts of crime or acts of violence.
Conde and their attorney concerned that the elimination of enhancements by Gascon could let their daughter's killer get off too easy. Their attorney is calling on Attorney General Javier Becerra to intervene. On the coronavirus front now, today was one of those good news, bad news days.
The good news, some of LA County's healthcare workers were among the first to get vaccinations today. Orange County expected to get the vaccine on Wednesday. But the COVID surge continues to worsen. ICU bed capacity is down to 2.7% in the Southern California region. In Riverside County, it's 0%, no beds. All the licensed ICU beds are taken. In LA County, many emergency rooms have been forced to divert patients to other facilities because they're too full.
All right, now back to that good news. Cheers and applause as frontline healthcare workers get their vaccinations.
At Laskos live at LAX, where even more vaccines are expected any time now. Ed?
You're right, Christine. Another shipment of the vaccine due here in the next couple of hours overnight, and then yet another shipment due to arrive LAX on Wednesday. Just under 83,000 doses of the vaccine coming into LA County. It's the county's first allotment as it continues to deal with an exploding surge of the virus. Look here. The COVID-19 vaccine is here, and so are more grim numbers about the pandemic. That is, LAX posts this online video showing the first plane load of the vaccine to arrive. All on the very same day, LA County continues to reel from the explosive surge of the virus.
We can't lose sight of the fact that we are still, as Dr. Ferrer just mentioned, in the midst of a very deadly and dangerous surge. The hospitals across Los Angeles County, all of them, are incredibly busy right now.
LA County confirming another 7,344 new cases, with 4,203 hospitalized, and the county reporting 48 new deaths.
The increase that we see in cases translates, unfortunately, to increases everywhere else. Our work sites, our early child care centers, our schools, among our healthcare workers.
And it's those healthcare workers who are now the first in line for the new vaccine. ER nurse Kim Taylor, one of the first healthcare workers in all the state to get vaccinated.
We frontline workers have been working around the clock over the past 9 months, sacrificing so much of what we do and love to take care of our patients. We've been doing this while trying to take care of our own families and keep them safe. Kaiser Permanente's Hollywood facility getting some of the first doses of the vaccine to arrive in the state, with tens of thousands of more doses of the Pfizer vaccine due in the coming days. Governor Newsom calling it history made as he watches the rollout of the vaccinations, warning the state's doses of the vaccine still outnumbered by new cases of the virus itself.
We are in the midst of the worst moment of this pandemic. So today is hopeful and it's reason to be optimistic, but let's be mindful of where we really are.
Once frontline healthcare workers are vaccinated, the staff and residents of nursing homes will be next. Several skilled nursing facilities through the Southland already preparing for the second round of the vaccine dose, expected to arrive early next week, just as soon as the Moderna vaccine is approved. Nursing homes have been hit hard with almost 5,500 deaths from the virus, and just under half of those fatalities happening in LA County nursing homes. Still, the vaccine brings hope.
What I want you guys to know is that help is on the way. Today's just the first step. Soon more vaccines will be distributed to the frontline workers.
And now live, Nurse Taylor wants you to know the vaccine is safe, urging everybody to get their shot as soon as they can, saying it's the only way to end this pandemic. So, you know, LA County Health hoping to have 6 million of us vaccinated in the next 6 months, expecting a few more vaccines to be on the market, approved in the coming month or so, besides Pfizer and Moderna. For now, we are live here at LAX. Back to both of you.
All right, Ed, thank you for that. Well, this Thursday, an FDA advisory panel will meet to examine the coronavirus vaccine made by Moderna. Moderna claims its vaccine is more than 94% effective, and Governor Newsom said after it gets FDA approval, California will get more than 500,000 doses of the Moderna vaccine within the next few weeks.
So when will the vaccine be widely available to the general public? Well, it depends a lot on who you talk to and how fast that Moderna vaccine rolls out. We reached out to CVS, who told us they may begin offering shots to the public as early as March of next year. Ralph's, Vons, Costco, Rite Aid, Walmart, and Walgreens will also be offering the vaccine. Could be March or June. Opinions varied among the doctors.
And definitely by March and April, I would expect that this will look more like a flu vaccine where you can just go into your local provider and get the vaccine.
If you think of the timeline and the fact that we're going to have more and more vaccines by more and more manufacturers available over the next month or month and a half, then hopefully we should have a critical mass where we can reach enough vaccines available so that we can start vaccinating as many of the population as possible.
Dr. King even suggested that the vaccine didn't necessarily need to be given only at medical facilities or pharmacies. He says mass vaccination centers could be set up in high school gyms, even parking lots.
As coronavirus cases skyrocket, Riverside County health officials say there are now 0 ICU beds available.
Koco McAboy joining us live from Community Hospital Riverside with what this means, what's being done to prevent further crisis. Koco.
Yes, good evening. County officials say hospitals are now implementing their surge plans, which means moving patients from ICU beds to other parts of the hospital if their conditions improve. But Riverside Community Hospital is also facing a strike next week.
We're definitely concerned.
A dire situation unfolding in Riverside County. Officials report the number of licensed ICU beds are down to 0 as COVID-19 cases rise.
And right now, the hospitals that are meeting their capacity are implementing their surge plans, and they do things like canceling elective surgeries.
Senior Public Information Specialist Shane Reichart says the biggest concern in the county is staffing at the hospitals.
As people are becoming ill, our hospital and emergency workers are also being exposed and ill, and that takes them out of the availability, at least temporarily.
Adding to staffing concerns, union strikes are planned at 3 SoCal hospitals, including Riverside Community Hospital, starting December 24th through January 3rd, as SoCal faces a nurse shortage and a COVID-19 surge.
So staffing is really the issue that we're experiencing that we didn't experience in March.
Though the county has 2 federal medical facilities, the facilities don't offer much help with this predicament.
Unfortunately, that's a lower level of care, so it doesn't do us a lot of good for ICU bed availability. It doesn't increase our ICU bed counts. It doesn't give us more capacity. And if we move medical staffing to that federal medical station, that's staffing that's not there in the hospital where we need them most.
Reichard says the surge is likely the result of Thanksgiving gatherings and wants people to take precautions moving forward.
Well, we want people to take this seriously and do everything possible to keep themselves and their families safe.
So what happens if you're sick in Riverside County? County officials say you really have to weigh your options. If you have the flu or you have a cold, call your doctor. Do not come to the ER. But if you are facing an emergency, they say do not hesitate to go to a hospital. They will do their best to accommodate you. Reporting live this evening, I'm Koco McAboy, Fox 11 News.
For millions of students, the pandemic has made learning much more difficult. Online classes at home taking a toll. Well, now some Cal State students in Long Beach are asking for a change in how they're graded. Gina Silva has that story.
At Cal State University Long Beach, students have been holding drive-through protests demanding a change in the grading system.
If life is not normal, why should grading be normal? That's really at the core of this.
As these students head into finals week, they want the option to choose credit or no credit for classes this semester.
But what the no credit credit system does is it'll give you credit for that class, but it will not have any effect on your GPA. So if you just pass the class with a C, we know that a C will affect your GPA more negatively versus getting an A.
I can already see some people saying, wait a second, this is like cheating.
We're not asking for a free ride. We're not asking for an easy A. We are still working. We're asking for help.
We're trying. We're working hard. This is not something that's easy.
Not easy because this pandemic has changed everything. All classes are online, and the students say even professors are struggling.
We've had to deal with professors that aren't even familiar with the technology that's available to them. Zoom.
We're not in the same boat that we were before. We're not on campus anymore. We're not in our homes. There's students that now have become the primary income for their family because their family either lost businesses, lost their jobs, and now they have to work 1 or 2 more jobs and still do school on top of that.
So far, more than 19,000 students have signed the petition for an alternative grading option. But CSULB Provost Brian Jersky isn't moved by it. He sent the students this email explaining why the school won't be offering credit, no credit this semester. Among the reasons, no letter grades can harm student transcripts. It can affect financial aid, and graduate schools do not recognize credit, no credit grades.
Flat out no. And I'd like to add that email was a bit cold.
We haven't been in a global pandemic in over 100 years, and I think it's very ignorant to assume that students are going to continue to the absolute, to their full ability under this.
We reached out to Cal State Long Beach, but no one got back to us. The students are making one last-ditch effort on Wednesday when they plan to meet with school administrators. I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
Some passionate, bright students there, right?
Absolutely. We have to follow up with that on Wednesday, for sure.
All right, Rick Dickert, our meteorologist. Let's get us started here on a Monday. Rick?
Christine, Marla, good evening to you and everybody at home. A chilly night after a cool and windy day across Southern California as a cold front actually passed through. Here are the current readings at 10 o'clock, and you can see Hesperia, Lancaster already down into the 30s. Look at Big Sur at 21 degrees at 10 o'clock, 56 degrees in downtown LA. That urban heat island in play, the concrete, the asphalt absorbs the heat during the day and retains it a bit more than the rural areas. 50 up the coast in Ventura. It's 53 in Santa Ana, 49 down in Orange County in San Clemente. That cold front did have just enough moisture and lift to produce some light showers early this morning. Ventura County, IE, down into Orange County as well. TO, you picked up 2/100ths of an inch, 6/100ths of an inch in Westlake Village. Santa Ana and Huntington Beach, 1/100th of an inch. And Lake Forest, you picked up 2/100ths of an inch, just enough to water the lawn. Downtown LA, no rain, so the streak continues, a dry streak there, 37 days in a row. Peak wind gusts. It was a windy day. Winds were out of the west, shifting to the north as that front passed through and then moved east out of our area. Look at Simi Valley, clocking a wind gust today, 48 miles an hour. Saugus, 37. Burbank and Lancaster, 40 miles per hour. And LAX at the airport, windy at the shore, 32 mile per hour wind gusts there. Coming up, we'll have the 7-day outlook and let you know if there's any other rain in the forecast. Plus, we'll talk king tides. Marla, Christine.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rick. The Electoral College confirmed Joe Biden's victory today as the 46th president of the United States.
The final tally, 306 votes for Biden, 232 for President Trump.
At the time, President Trump called the Electoral College tally a landslide. By his own standards, these numbers represented a clear victory then, and I respectfully suggest they do so now. If anyone didn't know before, they know now. What beats deep in the hearts of the American people is this: democracy.
On January 6th, Congress will meet in a joint session to count the votes and certify the tally.
Still ahead, Santa Claus and his trusty elf caught on camera tackling would-be car thieves.
And could Americans be getting another stimulus check soon? We've got the latest on the economic relief package.